This is Lemonade and Dandelion. So hi, Jamie. Can
Hello.
you introduce us to these two little budgies?
Yes, indeed. I think they sort of fell asleep a little bit while we were all watching and hearing about the macaws. They were napping, but they're sort of coming to now. On the left of your screen, that's Lemonade. And Lemonade is at this point presumed to be a male, but we're not entirely sure. As you can see, this is a very pale yellow bird. This is called a dilute coloring. And when a bird has a dilute coloring, it's not like albinism, not like being an albino, but it is sort of like that in that it's lacking some of the darker colorations. So far less striping on this bird than on the other. And so Lemonade has neither a blue nor a brown nair, that the skin part that's at the top of the beak. And so it's more like a cream and lavender. And so we're just not entirely sure, but we've decided that more likely male than female. So Lemonade, we're using he and him as our pronouns.
Okay.
Lemonade.
And how about Dandelion?
And then Dandelion on the right here is a female who we're fairly certain about that. All the coloration suggests it and the behaviors as well. And Dandelion, as you can see, has a lot more striping on the back, but not as much as some of the other birds that you'll see. So we have a male and a female in a cage together, and you might ask, what's to prevent them from reproducing? We just don't provide that sort of environment. So there are no nesting areas in here, and these two are just friends. We don't know their age. Well, actually we do. Dandelion lived with the previous owner for about 6 years. And so Dandelion is about 6 years old, and was surrendered because he could no longer care for her the way that he wanted to due to his work and so forth. So he chose to do the right thing and try to find her a home that could pay more attention to her. Lemonade was surrendered at a shelter in Sacramento with an injured wing. And if you look, you can see that the wing is drooping a little bit on Lemonade, the one on the left. It wasn't broken, but it was injured and painful. And so when we picked Lemonade up, we brought Lemonade to a fine avian veterinarian in Oakley, California. The wing was wrapped and immobilized for a couple of weeks, and I administered pain medications to Lemonade for a period of time. And then when that course had run, we went back to the veterinarian and had the wrapping removed. There doesn't seem to be any pain anymore, but the wing does have sort of a permanent droop. It does not prevent Lemonade from flying. Lemonade is still able to flit and fly around the cage.
Budgies are amazingly good flyers.
Yes, they are.
I'm hearing from our support team as people are watching this video at home, the image is flipped. So actually the male bird Dandelion is on your right with the droopy wing, and the female bird Lemonade right is on your left, and she has the darker color on her wings. So that's
okay. That's interesting. I don't know how that mirroring is happening. I apologize for that.
That's okay. I think it's pretty easy once we realize what's going on. We do have an audience question, and as a reminder for the rest of our audience, type your questions into Q&A on Zoom or the live stream on Facebook. People would like to know, do these birds talk?
Do you know, these two individuals do not talk that I have heard, but here's the thing about budgies. They have itsy bitsy teeny weeny voices, and they're actually known to be some of the best talking birds, but most people don't understand that they're talking. You have to really listen. I
Mhm.
have never heard anything that sounded like either bird was trying to speak, but they have lovely, lovely little voices. They chirp and sing and make just a really musical sound here in our home,
Mhm.
along with two other budgies that I am fostering. So speech, no. Song and joyful noise, yes.
Are they tame?
Um, these two individuals, Lemonade is very afraid of the hand still. And I don't know if over time that will change. Dandelion does come to the hand and was a pet for those 6 years and enjoys sitting on the hand on your finger and taking bits of treats, little bits of herbs that I get out of my garden, or tiny bits of seed.
Mhm.
So yes, Dandelion does seem to enjoy being held under her own terms. Lemonade, not so much.
Mhm. That's fair.
So these two came from different places at different times. They have settled in as friends. Budgies do like to be in a flock. They're very much flock birds in
Yes.
the wild. And so we want to have at least two together, but more is better. They enjoy the safety in numbers and the social the socialization opportunities that they get with each other. Budgies are funny. They'll have a terrible squawking quarrel and then be snuggling up and kissing afterwards. Lots of drama sometimes in the cage.
I have a cage of foster budgies, and I can confirm all of this is true. We've got another audience question now of, can they be adopted separately or are they bonded?
I would not say they are bonded. And so I would qualify that by saying, yes, they could be adopted separately, but we would want a single budgie to be adopted into a home where there would be the company of another. We do not like to place these flock birds alone to live alone in a cage. That's not a good situation for them mentally.
Yeah, if any of our viewers wonder about that, I would just encourage you to look at some video of wild budgies. Just go on YouTube and search and take a look, and you'll see the large groups that they live in and how incredibly interactive they are with each other. They belong in groups, and we do ensure that for their own satisfaction and quality of life. What kinds of activities or toys do Lemonade and Dandelion enjoy?
You can see one of the ones they enjoy right here. I buy those sponges, the loofah sponges, whole, and then I use my bread knife and cut them into strips like this. It's an inexpensive, fun toy that's very shreddable and safe. All of my budgies enjoy picking at those and just tearing them into pieces over the course of weeks rather than, minutes, as you would find with a larger beaked bird. But they'll work it and work it and work it until it's in a big pile on the floor of the cage. You can see a little bell there. I can't turn the camera without the camera accidentally turning off. It's inside their cage right now, but they also like the kind of raffia ties that you would put on packages. I tie those in knots and bows and place them around the cage. They like to floss those with their beak or tear them apart. They like these two are very fond of mirrors, and I don't know if they spent a lot of time with mirrors before, but they have several toys that have moving parts that they can manipulate with their beak and see themselves at the same time. So little things they can flip and turn and so forth. And they have a little bathtub shaped toy in the bottom with a mirror in the bottom of it. And I fill it with a bit of water and they go down there for their baths.
Got it.
They like to ring bells. And they mostly like to play with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of
Again,
interaction.
to adopting to have an end result of at least 2 budgies in your home.
Yeah.
We do have an audience question about how long budgies live, and I know it's a pretty wide range.
It is. It can be anywhere from 7 years up to 20. And it really depends on the quality of life that they have been given.
Mhm.
So you can find some budgies can be very long lived, but on the other hand, if you feed them a diet of just seed their whole lives, that's a very high fat diet, and you'll end up with heart problems and a much shorter life. In the wild, they're constantly on the move and flying distances and expending that energy. But in this kind of a setting, it's too much fat and it will shorten their lives. So these guys get some seeds, some herbs, some bits of fruit and vegetable. They're a bit wary of the vegetables, but are starting to nibble at herbs from my organic garden.
Got it.
Anybody, are there any other questions that have come from the audience?
There is one more, and then pretty shortly we're going to move on and meet a couple of cockatiels.
You bet.
But how old is Dandelion? I know that you gave us an estimate, but I cannot recall.
6 years. This Dandelion lived with her owner for 6 years, and so she would still be just a smidge over that. Not 7 yet, I don't think.
Got
And
it.
we don't know about Lemonade.
Okay. So we're going to move on now to meet a couple cockatiels named Cinnamon and Spice. So thank you so much, Jamie, for
Thank you.
introducing us to these lovely budgies, my personal favorite birds.